students. Today we are at the fourth part of P block elements. In the last video we have already discussed the questions on 13th group elements. Today here we are going to discuss the questions on remaining part of 13th group elements and also 14th group elements. And these are very important questions related to 13th and 14th group elements. So let us start with the first question. Which of the following statements about group 13 elements is incorrect? Okay, so they are asking which is incorrect. So first option says aluminium is a highly electropositive metal capable of forming +3 ions. Yes, right, it is electropositive, it is metal, and in its compound, say if I take aluminium chloride, it will be in +3 state. Next, boron is a non-metallic black colored solid. Yes, that is also true. Then gallium has the potential to exist as a liquid at room temperature during summer. Yes, this statement is also true. Gallium has very low melting point, that is around 303 Kelvin. So during summer, it exists as a liquid. Okay. And fourth option, all the elements in group 13 are characterized by high electrical conductivity. So this is incorrect. It's not all elements, right? Boron is a non-metal, so it is not characterized by high electrical conductivity. So that statement is incorrect. Let us move on to the next question. Yes, here assertion says boron forms only covalent compounds and does not form B3 plus ions. Reason says the extremely small size of boron causes the sum of its first 3 ionization enthalpies to be prohibitively high. See, when you take boron, it is second period element. In the last video, we have seen anomalous properties of second period elements. So, boron being very small in size, it has very high ionization energy. And when you take three ionization energies, first three ionization energies, so the amount of energy will be enormously high. So, it is very difficult to form B3 plus ions. B3 plus ions cannot be formed. Okay, so when the ions cannot be formed, it cannot form ionic compounds. Okay, that is the meaning of assertion. So it forms only covalent compounds, not B3 plus ions. So that is true. So it is due to what? As I explained, small size. So first three ionization enthalpies are very high. Right. So here both assertion and reason are true, and reason is the correct explanation of assertion. Next one. Yeah, here statement 1 says gallium is a highly useful material for measuring high temperatures because of its unusually low melting point. See, this is actually true. That is, gallium is a highly useful material for measuring high temperatures. But it is not because of its low melting point. It is because of its high boiling point. Okay. When the boiling point is very high, it means that it can withstand high temperatures. Right. So, it is useful material for measuring high temperatures. Then statement 2 says, so here statement 1 is what? It is incorrect. Okay. Statement 2 says the density of group 13 elements shows a continuous increase down the group from boron to thallium. See, density is equal to mass divided by volume. So it depends on both mass and volume. Okay, so as you move down the group, mass increases and also the size of elements increases and volume increases. So both will be increasing. We need to see which effect is more. Okay, and in most of the times mass effect will be more. Okay, so here density continuously increases down the group is true, because as the mass increases, density also increases. Okay, so the effect of mass is considered to be more than the effect of volume. So here statement 1 is incorrect, but statement 2 is correct. Next one. Statement 1 says, boron in its crystalline form readily reacts with air on heating to form B2O3. See, this comes under reactions, reaction with oxygen. So when you consider boron, it does not react with oxygen in its crystalline form. Okay. So it has to be in amorphous form. That means powdered form if you take, it has the tendency to react, because in the powdered form the surface area will increase, right, and the reacting tendency will be more. So here what happens, statement 1 is incorrect because it is saying about crystalline form. Then, aluminium is protected from continuous atmospheric attack due to the formation of thin oxide layer. This everybody knows. On aluminium surface, there will be a thin oxide layer due to which the reaction is restricted. So, statement 1 is incorrect here, but statement 2 is correct. Okay, next question. Consider the trend in the nature of oxides for group 13 elements. So you have oxides of boron, aluminium, gallium, indium and thallium. Which of the following accurately describes this sequence from boron to thallium? So here, this boron being non-metal, it forms acidic oxides. Okay, so boron forms acidic oxides. Then aluminium and gallium, you know that they show amphoteric nature. Then as you move down the group, metallic nature will increase. So this indium and thallium being metallic, their oxides will be basic in nature. So first one acidic, then amphoteric, last two are basic. Next one. Which of the following comparisons of acidic character for group 14 oxides is correct based on this? Okay, based on the given options. So here you can see the options. In one option, same metal is given, right? Same metal or same element is given. One is dioxide of element, another is monoxide. So when you look at the oxidation states, for example, I'll take the first option. So GeO2 you have. Here this has +4 oxidation state. If you consider GeO, germanium is in +2 oxidation state. So whenever you have higher oxidation state, it will be highly acidic in nature. Okay, so you just need to look at the oxidation states. Higher the oxidation state, it becomes acidic. Okay, more acidic. So here first option itself is correct, right? GeO2 is more acidic than GeO. But next it is given PbO2 is more basic. No, in this also you have +4 +2, so that should be more acidic. Then CO is more acidic than CO2. No. Again here you have +4 oxidation state and +2. So CO2 will become more acidic. And again in this also SnO2 and SnO +4 will become more acidic. Okay, just look at the oxidation states and decide. Okay, next question. An unknown group 14 element X forms a monoxide XO. Okay, that is strictly neutral, and a dioxide XO2 that is acidic. This is neutral, and when you take XO2, that is actually acidic. Identify the element X and another element Y whose both monoxide and dioxide are amphoteric. Y, if you take both YO and YO2 are amphoteric. So here in 14th group elements, carbon, silicon, germanium, tin and lead. When you take all these elements, tin and lead in both the forms monoxide and dioxide. Okay, this also PbO, PbO2. So all these will be amphoteric in nature. Fine. That means here the second element, that is Y, should be either tin or lead. Okay, so we have it in option A and B. Then you have to decide with this XO and XO2 when you consider. So two options you have here, carbon or silicon. You know that CO is neutral, right? And CO2 is acidic in nature. So X should be carbon and Y should be tin. Okay, so B is the answer here. Next one. Which of the following represents the correct sequence of electronegativity for group 13 elements? Okay, so the order of electronegativity we need. So in the elements, boron, aluminium, gallium, indium and thallium. Actually, under normal conditions, electronegativity decreases down the group, right? So here what happens, from boron to aluminium, normal trend is observed, that is electronegativity decreases. But when you go from aluminium to gallium, it will increase. Then again, gallium to indium, it will increase. Indium to thallium also, it will increase. So you know that in these you have d orbitals. In these you have filled d and f orbitals. Okay. And this increase will be much more than expected. Fine. So what happens is boron will be highest. Okay. Then when you move down the group, next comes thallium. Fine. So here the order actually will be this. So how you can remember this is, first it is boron. Okay. Aluminium, you know, being metallic, electronegativity will be least. Just you can remember it that way. So you can go in this order. See, first you are writing boron here, highest. Next, aluminium. Okay, so go in this reverse order, like this. See now, gallium, indium, thallium. Okay, boron, then aluminium here, gallium, indium, thallium. So you have to remember this order. Electronegativity is in this order. Okay. Yes, next one. Yeah, now the correct order of electronegativity values for group 14 elements. Okay. Here also almost similar thing will happen, but in this carbon, silicon, germanium, tin and lead you have. Okay. So here when you move from carbon to silicon, electronegativity will decrease. Always first to second element, it will be the normal trend. Then if you observe for these silicon, germanium and tin, the electronegativity value is almost the same. Okay. And when you move to lead, it will increase because of F electrons also. Okay. F electrons are poor shaders. So similar to the previous case, after carbon, you are getting lead here. Okay. Then you are getting silicon, germanium and tin. It is given almost equal, nearly equal. Okay. So carbon is here. Then lead you have, silicon, germanium, tin are nearly equal. So that is the right answer. Next one. Which of the following is the correct decreasing order of first ionization enthalpy for group 14 elements? So here yesterday we discussed about atomic radius and ionization energy of 13th group. Right. So here for 14th group, atomic radius will follow the normal trend. Okay, so there is no variation. So I am not including that question. In ionization energy, there is one variation. So if you consider carbon, silicon, germanium, tin and lead, so here ionization energy decreases from carbon to silicon. Okay. Then silicon to germanium also it will decrease, but the decrease is less. That's it. Then here what happens, here it will decrease, but from tin to lead it will increase. Okay, here it will decrease, here it will increase. That means only for the last element it will be more than tin. Okay, so carbon highest, then silicon, then germanium, then just exchange the positions of tin and lead. So lead first, then you have to write tin. So it is option C. Okay, next one. What is the correct order of melting points for the elements of group 13? So here again we have exception for melting points of group 13. So you can just remember it with the trick here. Okay. So the order is this one: boron, then aluminium. So you can say boron, aluminium, after that gallium, indium, and then thallium. So you will go in this order. Like this you can remember. Or one shortcut is you can just remember it as shortcut, that is to remember indium, thallium. I'll just write like this. Okay. So then indium you have gallium. Right. So you can remember it as batting. Okay. Batting is the trick. So B-A then T-I-G. Okay. Just remember it this way for melting point order of 13th group. Then the property of catenation in group 14 elements follows the decreasing order. So what is the order of catenation? You know that carbon has highest, right? So much more greater than silicon. Then silicon is greater than germanium. Remember that germanium and tin are equal. Okay. Then actually lead does not show catenation tendency. Okay, it does not show. Here in the options it is given as least. So we can take this particular option, option A. So these are the questions for today. So we have taken many important questions. That's all for today, students. Don't miss out on what's coming next. Tap the subscribe button, give this video a share, and drop a like if you enjoyed it. Thank you so much.